I'm sure many people are aware that Beatrix Potter spent much of her life in the Lake District, but how many, I wonder, will be as aware of her Scottish connections as a young girl on holiday, foraging and painting in the beautiful Perthshire countryside? The Beatrix Potter exhibition in the Birnam Institute is a wonderful visitor experience and well worth a visit if you're in the area. It includes a small garden highlighting some of the characters from her books. But before we explore this aspect of her life further, if this is the second or third time you've watched any of my videos, then it's certainly time to subscribe if you haven't already, and it's free, so hit that red button and ding the bell. Born in 1866, Beatrix was 4 when the family rented Tullymet House near Ballinluig in 1870 for their summer holidays, which ran from June to October each year. From 1871 to 1881, the Potters rented Dalguy's House, about 5 miles north of Dunkeld, now an activity centre for young people. With the formality of London life behind them, they were able to spend hours exploring, painting and foraging. Beatrix wrote her journal in code so no one else could read it. From 1886 to 1890, Beatrix did not keep the best of health, and while she didn't keep up her journal, she did do some painting of fungi and had some mouse drawings printed as cards in 1890. In 1892, the Potters rented Heath Park in Birnam for a holiday, and she wrote of this extensively in her journal. On this holiday, she met up with local people with whom she had met on previous holidays, and on her last week she met the naturalist Charles McIntosh in person, a rural postman from Inver, to discuss her drawings. The two became good friends and enjoyed their shared passion, with McIntosh offering much advice and support to Beatrix. In 1893, the Potters rented Eastwood on the banks of the River Tay, and it was here, in September of that year, that she wrote a picture letter of the Peter Rabbit story to Noel Moore, the son of her former governess, and over the following winter, she continued her correspondence with Charles McIntosh. 1894 saw the Potters' holiday in the Scottish borders at Lennell near Coldstream, and Beatrix painted a number of watercolours in that area. From 1895 to 1897, the Potters had no more holidays in Perthshire, although Beatrix maintained her correspondence with Charles McIntosh. During this time, Beatrix did a lot of study and prepared a paper on the reproduction of fungi, making visits to Kew Gardens and the Natural History Museum as she developed new theories. In 1897, she prepared a paper for submission to the Linnean Society. This was merely noted and not published. At this time, the role of women in science was not really accepted. Although Beatrix and Charles McIntosh were aware of their mutual interest in the natural world, it wasn't until the last days of her 1892 holiday at Birnam before they actually met. Prior to this, because of their mutual interest and the great support Charles gave to Beatrix, her father Rupert had sent 2 volumes of a book by Reverend Stevenson, an authority on fungi. It's unlikely on his postman's wage that McIntosh would have been able to afford such a book. In 1901, Beatrix self-published The Tale of Peter Rabbit after failing to find a publisher. However, its success encouraged Warren Brothers to publish future works from Beatrix. It's been suggested that some of the people she met during her Perthshire holidays gave her the inspiration for some of the characters in her books, such as the Dalguy's washerwoman, Kitty MacDonald, for Mrs. Tiggywinkle, and even Charles McIntosh himself for Mr. McGregor. Between 1902 and 1913, Beatrix's famous children's stories were published by Warren Brothers each year, and she used the proceeds to purchase her property in the Lake District, where she met and married her solicitor, Mr. Heelis, setting up home at Sorry, near Hawkshead. Beatrix loved her life in the Lake District, rearing Herdwick sheep and buying even more land, which she donated to the National Trust on her death in 1943.